Hello everyone, good evening. I am Axelsims, and this is just a random video of randomness I decided to make because of people saying or asking a lot in the comments were like, why were you kind of terrified of Escape from Lavender Town, and why do some things horrify you, but at the same time things don't horrify you? Well, I decided to kind of make a video about it just because why not? I moved and I'm not at the same place I used to be. That's why if I like pause suddenly, I might actually pause for no reason, just because I actually am not living with my dad only now. I'm living with a couple of other people, and back when I was living with my dad, I would usually wait till he went to work before I would record. And now it's not so easy because there's actually 3 people, including my dad, living with me right now. So if I pause, or if there's a cut, that's why, just so you know. Anyway, so I am more afraid of uh, the unknown, I guess you could say, the not unexplained, the unexplainable, I guess would be the best way to put it. And no, I don't mean unknown like the Pokemon. Um, I know a lot of people wanting me to do Lost Silver, so I'm going to do that eventually. I don't know if I should do Hidden first or if I should do the actual Lost Silver, like the original. Anyway, so what I mean by this is like, okay, let's picture you're in a dark hallway, alright, and there's 2 things chasing after you. This is 2 different occasions. Like the first time you're being chased in a dark hallway and you hear horrible, like, unnatural sounds behind you. Like you know something's coming after you, but you can't explain what it is because you can't see what it is. You can only hear what it is, and you don't know what it sounds like. It doesn't sound like anything you've ever seen or heard of before. It's not like a cat screeching or a chainsaw revving up or anything like that. It's unexplainable. It's different, alien to you. Now, all right. Now imagine the second time you're being chased by a guy with a chainsaw. All right, like in Saw. Well, not in Saw, but like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Okay, let's imagine it's like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you're being chased by a guy with a chainsaw. Okay, now for me at least, the first occasion where I'm being chased by something I can't understand or I can't explain is more terrifying because I don't know what's happening. I can't explain. I don't know the limits of the thing that's coming after me. A man with a chainsaw can be dealt with because it's still human. You can explain humans. You can explain the reasoning behind humans. Like, this man is chasing after me because he's psycho. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. The chainsaw has limits. You can understand, like, for example, if you stop, he's probably going to cut you. So you're going to keep on running. Okay, which is understandable. However, on the other hand, if you don't know what's going on, then you don't know what to do. I mean, obviously you're going to do basic assumptions. You're going to assume that running is a good idea because you don't want to be close to this thing that's chasing you, right? Okay. But your mind starts assuming things, and that can potentially kill you faster. You might have had a chance to live, but because you assumed, that killed you. It screwed you over. You're dead. You're done. No chance. Like, for example, a guy with a chainsaw, you're not going to stop because, he's right behind you with a chainsaw. You're not going to just stop. But if you keep running, though, you're not going to be in trouble. You're going to be safe if you keep running away. You're not going to have any problems. Because, well, you do have a problem. There's a guy behind you with a chainsaw. But if you can keep away from him, then you're okay. At least from that particular problem. Now, if there's a guy in front of you with a chainsaw and there's a guy behind you with a chainsaw, you're kind of screwed either way, unless you can go left or right. But this is supposed to be like a linear hallway, but we're getting off subject here. So the unexplainable, the ones where you don't know its limits, that's what terrifies me more, is what I cannot explain, what I cannot, like I do not know what's happening. that's why Escape from Lavender Town was terrifying. And that's also why I do all my videos, at least for creepypastas and things like that, blind most of the time. If I can, do it the first time blind, because that if I play the game already, then I know what's going to happen. If I know what's going to happen, then there's no problems whatsoever. That's why when I was playing Flutter Island 2, a game that did not terrify me for the most part, when I was playing through it again to get the actual ending, I got jumped. I jumped because one of the rooms was different than it was the last time. I did not expect that. I assumed, and that's why I got, that's what happened. That's why I jumped. I didn't understand what was going on from Escape from Lavender Town because I don't know what goes on in Escape from Lavender Town. That's why it was a blind run. So doing that, things were different. For me, I was more terrified. That's why the Luna games, those are all blind. I didn't know what was going to happen because, for some reason, I kept dying, but at the same time I wasn't dead. Because I was still playing. Or maybe I was dead. I wasn't sure. And when I saw Pinkamena, well, things don't just pop out of nowhere, okay? You can rule out that it was just a normal Pinkie Pie that's just gone crazy, because a normal Pinkie Pie, well, doesn't just pop out of nowhere. It might break a hole through the dimensions and pop out and stare at you evilly, but it won't actually just, boom, there it is. That's why jump scares don't really get me, because it's just a picture, It's just a picture. I might jump a little bit at first because, oh, look, you shocked me, but I won't be afraid of it because it's a picture. I know it's a picture. It's not going to do anything to me. That's why when I was playing Sonic.exe, I wasn't terrified for the most part because I already read the creepypasta. The only thing that ever got me was the Dr. Eggman part because I never played the Dr. Eggman part. And then out of nowhere, just like it starts laughing again, and I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. Was not ready for this. Calm yourself. So anyway, I'm sorry that there's really nothing interesting in the background. I'll probably put a picture there or something, but at this moment I just decided to do a blank screen. I actually, since I've already played Lost Silver once, I was going to play Lost Silver while doing this in the background. Well, I already did a test recording of that, and it was just horrible. I was getting off track so many times. I was just like, what's going on? I'm playing this game and I'm trying to talk about something different at the same time, and it's just anyway. So videos are going to be a little farther apart now because I can't really find very many good times to record anymore. Like for example, I generally don't like recording when there's other people in the house with me, especially for things like creepypastas. I do not like doing that. I like to be by myself and alone in the dark to set the mood for the best reaction that I can. And that's also why I do the blind runs, because, like I said, once I've done something once, it's not as terrifying to me. That's why I don't find zombies horrifying, because zombies are just deceased human corpses that are walking around. I know generally what is going to be the problem, like don't get bit. But on the other hand, if something else is going on, like for example, I'll tell you a story. Resident Evil 4. Okay. Car in the background. Resident Evil 4 did not scare me at all. Like, I was cautious when I first got to the village, like, right in the beginning of the game, because obviously, there's a whole bunch of guys there, and I knew there was a chainsaw guy coming out. I was like, oh, fuck, that's not good. But I did not get, terrified. I wasn't actually afraid of what was going to happen until you get to the point, spoiler alert, by the way, derp, where they plant insect thingies start coming out of their bodies after shooting them in the head, because I wasn't ready for that. I did not know what was going to happen. And at the time, I didn't know that there was only two forms. There's the little blade one that swings at you, and then there's the one that bites you, and that's an instant kill. But I did not know about this. I did not know there was only 2 features to them. So at the time, I was actually terrified of the possibility of what could happen. Okay, there's actually a third one, which is like a little spider thing that crawls around and tries to get you, but that's beside the point. That's not nearly as important. Um, Playing, I was actually afraid. I wasn't like deadly afraid. I wasn't like, oh my god, I'm not gonna play the game anymore. Um, it's just that I was not. No, I did not know what was going to happen. Um, Playing it again now, however, like if I played Resident Evil 4 again, I actually do have it for the PS2, but my PS2 is not here. I wouldn't be afraid at all, actually. I might be cautious, but I won't be afraid because I know the limits of what's going to happen. That's what my fear is. I'm afraid of the unknown, the exact opposite of Haruhi Suzumiya. If you don't know who that is, go watch Haruhi Suzumiya because it's freaking awesome. um, There's also other things that I have fears of. I have a love-hate relationship with knives, for example. Because when I was a child, I walked into my kitchen and a knife was sitting on the counter, and it fell off the counter. Don't know how it happened. I wasn't like banging on anything or anything. I was just walking into the kitchen. Knife falls off the counter and stabbed me right between my toes. And it actually stabbed me. It wasn't like I was really lucky or anything. It actually did get into my skin a little. And ever since then, I've had a love-hate relationship with knives because I like knives, but at the same time, I'm terrified of knives. So that's all that about. There's also one other thing that I'm actually, or I don't know if I am still, but I used to be really terrified of as a kid. I actually could not beat Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time as a child. The reason why was because it's not just me, but there's actually a ton of people out there who were terrified of redeads. Redeads were basically zombies in Legend of Zelda, but they weren't zombies, and that's what really got me, is that they weren't actually zombies. And what would happen if you don't know what they would do? If you got too close to one, it would stare at you, which would paralyze you, making you unable to control Link at all. And it would just start walking towards you slowly, and you would hear this high-pitched scream noise when it happened. It's like creepypasta. It's freaking amazing that this was in an actual game, and it would just start walking towards you slowly. And if it actually got to you, it would jump on your back, and I don't really know what actually happened. It was the N64. I think it was trying to like bite you or something. Um. Anyway, beside the point, I was deadly terrified of them as a kid. I really was, and I'm still slightly terrified of them to this day. Twilight Princess, however, was not. I was not afraid of Twilight Princess at all. I was also afraid of the Master Hands from Legend of Zelda. I actually was afraid of those. Not afraid of them anymore. I was, though. Like Wind Waker, I never beat Wind Waker because of 2 things. The Master Hands, I hated those, and I did not like the Typhoons. I would not get anywhere close to the Typhoons. I remember as a child playing Wind Waker when it first came out. I was sailing around in the ocean, because that's what like 90% of that game is, and I ran into an octopus, an octo thingy, and it's one of those that you get a fairy from, like a big fairy, and you have to shoot like its eyes out or something, and it causes a whirlpool around it, and you just slowly start rocking around it, and it like shoots stuff at you. Now, when I was playing this, and this actually happened to me, my parents were actually sitting next to me watching me play. I literally jumped up and turned the game off immediately because I was so scared of what was going to happen. I had no idea, and I was just like, nope, not playing this anymore. Done. And I still haven't beat Wind Waker to this day, actually, because it's not that I couldn't, it's just I never bought the game. It was a rent, and, just, oh my god. That just terrified the crap out of me. It's the weirdest things that terrify the crap out of you. The regenerators. Of course, almost everyone's afraid of regenerators from Resident Evil 4. That actually really terrified the crap out of me. But, so, that's what I mean. That was what freaks me out personally, is the unknown of the possibilities of what could happen. Not, when there's no limits, that's what terrifies me. That's when I don't know what could possibly happen. Now, obviously, it has to do a little more than that, because I mean, if I just popped in a new game, anything that I don't know what's going to happen, I'm just going, whoa, this is terrifying me, dude. I don't know what's going on. Who are these people? No, it's not like that. It's just, it has to have an atmosphere, for example. But if I can understand what's scaring me, like if there's a man in the like, for example, like I said, pop-ups, pictures like that, things like that, that doesn't terrify me whatsoever. If you have ever watched the user 666 video on YouTube, that actually terrified me because I had no idea what was going to happen. It's a creepypasta, right? Which is fine. There's plenty of creepypastas out there. But it's at the very end of it, I had no idea what was going on, because first of all, it was a video. I never even read anything about user 666. I was like, oh, here's a video of user 666. I was like, okay, fine, I'll just watch this, and holy shit, I mean, it doesn't like horrify me, terrify me. There's certain levels of it. It's just that made me actually scared for a little bit, because I had no idea what was going to happen. And that's why that whole idea of when the game closes, like when the Luna games, for example, when the game closed and then it pops up 5 seconds later, that actually got me a lot, because I did not expect that. I thought that it was over. I was happy that it was over, and then I was like, okay, it's over, yay, video done, and then boom, all of a sudden it's back, and I'm like, oh god, no, my computer's come to life, it's trying to kill me. What else is there? Massive gore also is something that kind of terrifies me. It has something to do with my situation. But like, if the thought of massive gore like happening to me, like losing an arm, actually does kind of scare me. Being eaten alive is something that terrifies me. But yeah, like, if I lost my arm, I would be in shock. I'd be horrified. I would probably have massive problems. Regardless. Anyway, so yeah, this is not a normal thing I do. Obviously, this is like a video log or anything like that. But I just decided that I had nothing really interesting to post. So I figured I'd just record since I had the chance. Anyway, so I'm Axelsims. Goodbye, everybody. Also, just pointing things out to you. If you really liked Sonic.exe, there's a chick out there. I can't remember how to pronounce her name. It's the Legend of Zelda Lulu 2? I don't really know what to call her. Anyway, she usually comments on my videos. She actually has made a Sonic.exe backpack doll. It's really cool. It was funny because a couple of videos, like she posted a video like not too long ago talking about how she was going to make it, and then she never posted the actual video on it. And I asked her, I was like, hey, you should totally, like, if you actually did this, you should show it, because I'm interested in seeing it. Not because I really like Sonic.exe, but because, it's actually interesting, especially for someone like me who's interested in stuff like cosplays and things like that. So anyway, yeah, shouting out kind of to her, I guess. I'm Axelsims, and this is going to be the end of the video. Thank you everyone for watching. If you've never seen me before, this is what I look like. Congratulations. I have short hair, sometimes. I have a goatee most of the time, and I talk with my hands a lot. Woo! So, good night.